G'day everyone, thank you for joining us. This is the 5th session or operator session as part of the web series. Thank you for joining us again. We've got 3 operators today. We're going to start off with Mark Gleeson from Adelaide Central Market Tours. Then Felicity Brown from Shinta Air Tours will present, and then to round it off we've got Crystal Partridge from Temptation Sailing. Just a few housekeeping notes. We're going to try and keep this session to half an hour, so each supplier is going to present for about 8 minutes, and then we'll have 1 or 2 minutes for questions. If you do have questions along the way, please type them into the question box. Also, just a reminder, if you have missed any of the previous sessions, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/SATradespecialist. So, Matt, thank you for joining us again. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, John. An early start at this end, but always a pleasure.
Fantastic. All right, Mark, you ready to kick it off?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, mate.
Good afternoon to everyone across North America from cold old Adelaide. My name's Mark Gleeson, and you can see me there on your screen. Feel free to workshop some hair in there if you like. I'm a retired chef, and I'm an ex-restaurateur, and I do a bit of food judging here in Adelaide. Food and wine sit at the very heart of South Australian tourism, and I'm very fortunate to be able to have a small business that takes your guests, your clients, around our famous central market. My tours are a guided gourmet walking tour for small to mostly small groups, but larger groups can be accommodated to or for. The market is a very special place for Adelaide. We're over 140 years old now, and it's 3 acres of land that was put aside by our forefathers to become the centre of the food industry for South Australia. So I know you've all heard of all the famous regions, Barossa and Coonawarra and McLaren Vale, famous for their wine and their wine country tourism. They're also very famous for the food that they produce, and a lot of that food comes from all those regions and makes its way into our famous market over the market days during the week. So I'm lucky enough to be able to take your people around and introduce them to some of the owners of the businesses inside the market. We do a lot of tasting of delicious food that comes from everywhere. As I say, it's a behind-the-scenes tour, so we get to talk to the owners and we get to go inside their businesses and have a bit of a deeper look at how not only a market works, but how Adelaide works. There you can see that photograph is me again doing a bit of a tasting there with some girls. I think we're eating gauge plums, which is one of those plums which starts to disappear off the radar as the big commercial companies take over. So we're looking at a lot of small suppliers, small farm-grown produce, and so it's quite cutting edge when you think about it from a food angle. The picture there you see on the bottom left of your screen is my business. I've owned the Providore in the market for over 20 years, and you can see it's grown. All the shelves are groaning with all sorts of yummy produce. I've become very famous for my very unhealthy food, lots of chocolate, Rocky Road, and things we call chocolate crackles, which is an Aussie Rice Krispie held together with Belgian chocolate. And Matt, I know Matt comes down every day and has one.
I don't see it as unhealthy, Mark. I think it's one of the 5 essential food groups, chocolate, part of the essential diet.
So when you think about the market, it really is the heart of our industry in food. We get about 1 million people, 1 million visitors per month come to the market, and it is really the sort of multicultural food bowl for South Australia. The market days are Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I know that makes it a bit complicated for you guys when you're trying to make a booking, but I can't do anything about the non-market days. You can I'm really happy for you to email me and see if I can fit in some other food experiences for your clients. But they're the market days and they're set in stone really. The tours generally run at 9:30 in the morning, and as I said before, I like to keep the groups about 10 or under. And if I have larger groups than that, then I have other guides, tour guides that come and assist me with the tours. The rack rate, the retail price in Australian dollars for a 2-hour market tour is $60, and of course I'm happy to work with all the agents, wholesalers, and agents like yourselves in bringing the best price and the best experience to your visitors. A couple more shots of the market there. As you can see, in all the photos I haven't stopped talking, and it really is a study of not only the great produce but also how small business works in Australia, in South Australia. The list on the left-hand side is some of the produce that we try, some of the foods, and they include extra virgin olive oil from our farmlands here, fat-free yogurt, which is absolutely sensational, organic fruit, Polish meats, German metwursts, South Australian cheeses, lots of yummy chocolate, oysters, and of course we always end up with a great coffee. And the coffee is always a bit of a hit. There's another photograph of me, which is one I use for my Twitter. And so there's my Twitter address. I'm really keen to keep in touch with you guys through social media. My Facebook is reasonably new, and so if I'm slow to answer on that, then please just bear with me. Take a look at my website, centralmarkettour.com.au. It's got some really funky pictures of the market and a bit more in-depth stories about myself and what I do in the market. And of course, there's my email on top, info@centralmarkettour.com.au. And if you have any grief with any of those contacts, get in touch with Matt or anyone here at SATC, and then they'll be happy to put you through to me. Now, any guys got any questions?
Thanks, Mark. As I said to everyone, if you've got any questions, please feel free to type away. Mike, just a question while we're waiting for others to come through. Do you do tours on any other or across any other sites in Adelaide apart from the Central Market, or is it just a market at this stage?
I do. I progress, and so I'm really. It's very simple for me to accommodate requests into other areas around Adelaide. I do a bit of a precinct tour for smaller groups, couples, which is a half-day morning tour and includes lunch, but it's built around the Central Market. It's really adaptable for FIT.
Great. All right, we haven't got any questions come through as
yet. No questions.
But what we might do is move on to Crystal, and then if we've got any questions, we'll come back to Mark.
Okay, thanks, guys.
This is Maite. I had one really quick question, Mark. Are you going to be participating in any of the events around Tasting Australia in 2012?
Yeah, we are. I'm actually trying to build a tour to some of the farms out in some of the regions. I've had dealings with the coordinators of Tasting Australia, and I'll certainly be taking a media group out to Mannum and Murray Bridge to look at some of the bigger food producers from regional South Australia.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maite, just for the benefit of the consultants that are on the line, could you talk a bit about Tasting Australia in case people haven't heard of the event yet?
Of course. So Tasting Australia is a culinary event that takes place in Adelaide every couple years, and it is confirmed to take place from April 26th to May 3rd of 2012. And essentially, it's the largest food event in Australia that takes place, and they have all sorts of culinary talent from across the country, so top chefs, different food and drink professionals, media, and then also they're opening it up to the general public as well to come and attend a variety of different events. So it could be cooking classes or seminars, They do a really big event, Feast of the Senses, just along the river down in Adelaide, and they set up all these different tastings. But Mark, you can probably talk a little bit more about it as well.
Yeah, it's a great festival that runs for a week, and we get a lot of visitors from the US, a lot of media who come out to look at the way we do things here in Australia. It's a big event for Adelaide, and I think, in fact, there's so many big events in Adelaide. You can look at the diary and pick a date. We've got so many, but for Tasting Australia, it is certainly a very exciting event, and it culminates in a big weekend event on the banks of our river, where the big Feast of the Senses, and which is like a big party where lots of producers from around South Australia, winemakers and food makers, gather and showcase their product.
So anybody that's interested in food and wine, if you've got customers that are interested in that, definitely a great time to travel to South Australia and to Adelaide, because they've got personalities, food and beverage personalities from around the world that are coming in for this event. And here in the States, I know a lot of people are familiar with the chef Curtis Stone. I think he's one of the people that is confirmed to come to Tasting Australia this year as well.
If anybody would like to keep in touch about Tasting Australia, please just add me in Twitter, because I'll be talking about it as much as I can as it approaches.
Great. Thanks, Mark.